I'm Christian Fearnley-Robson, founder of Oliver Brown of London, and I'm going to talk to you today all about my silk top hat collection, the biggest in the world, over 1,200, and you'll see them in Chester, in the City Shop, in Lower Sloane Street, in Chelsea, or in Jermyn Street. We have specialists in each shop to look after you, and this is the love of my life, silk top hats. The reason I got into silk top hats was some luck really, and my father invited me to Ascot 32 years ago, which I was so excited about, on the Friday, which was always the young day, and I was told to look the part, number one and the Royal Enclosure. He said go and buy a top hat. He suggested to go down the Portobello route, which was all antiques in those days, and so I bought a top hat there for £60. And I then wore it at Ascot the next night, bought my full tail outfit from a second-hand store, also on Portobello Road, which was about £50. And so, looking the part, my godfather, Ian Buckley Sharp, said to me, "Your hat is stunning, where did you buy it from?" I said, "I got it from the Portobello Road." "How much was it?" Because mine cost £800 from Lock & Co. I then sold Lock & Co. and other people top hats for a year or two, and then I started selling them directly to the public using the back of the Country Life, the Field, the Times, the Telegraph, and I developed my business from there, which was then called KJF Robson Silk Top Hats. And then I had my shop in 2000, Oliver Brown in Chelsea, and that's where my passion and where the silk top hat journey began for me, and it's now flourishing and very much part of our brand, very much part of our heritage, and I love talking about them. So I've got the biggest collection in the world, some over 1,200. They're split over all 4 shops, Chester, City, Sloane Street and Jermyn Street, about 300 in each. And all shapes and sizes, so it's all about the size when it comes to a silk top hat. They haven't been made for 80 years. They are very short supply, because our heads were much smaller in those days. So we've gone up 2 sizes, we reckon, in 100 years. So the larger ones are really hard to find. The smaller ones, there's plentiful. So we've got all shapes and sizes. As they were all made for people's heads, we can reshape them to your head if we need to, which we do very often, very easily. And so we have a 5.5 inch crown, which are these. We have an amazing 7.5, 8 inch hat. This is a really old hat. And then this is a real standard, sort of just under 6 inch, very beautiful hat. So we have all shapes, all sizes for you to choose from. Valuation of top hats, we buy from, as I said, suppliers all around the world. Our prices are the best around, we believe. We do have amazingly beautiful tall hats, which they can be north of 10,000, but that's for something very, very tall and unique. Our prices are really the best. So our average price of silk top hats is probably 2,500 to 3,000. Most of our competitors are so much more than that. I don't believe in that game. We don't charge prices depending on who walks through the door. We charge our prices as they're already marked. Our 7.25 average is £2,000, for example, which is very much less. We also have hats that are not such in good condition, or I've paid less for, and they could be 1,000, 1,500. So come and shop about, but look at us. We are always, and have always been, the best value for a silk top hat. So the price of the hats here, so I've done a sort of, these are all 7.25, so that's a 7.25 and is a very tall 6.25 inch. That's 4,500. That's a low one, and that's 1,500. That's another one that's between the heights, depending on what we paid, it's 2,500. So those are the sort of prices, but they really vary. We say that hats are from £500 up to the thousands. The larger heads, 7.5, 7.5/8, and any bigger, do get expensive because they are very, very rare to get, but they're never more than £5,000 or £6,000 or £7,000. Fitting a hat to your head, it needs to be about ½ an inch above the ear and flat on your head and snug on your head. So not loose side to side. We fit them to most of our shops have a specialist in there. Most people, all our staff know how to fit hats. That's their job, and they're good at it. So come and see us. It needs to fit correctly. A top hat should not be tight on your head. If you've got one that is tight, we can make it looser. Okay, top hat refurbishment, we do a great job at that. We start with polishing. We polish your hat, come and bring it to us, we'll do it for you. If we sold one to you, we we will give you the first year on the house. We won't charge you. And we can reshape a hat to fit your head. A lot of hats we do reshape to fit the hat, but most we don't, because we have such a big collection that we don't need to do that. So we can put a new liner inside. We can put a new leather slip inside. We can replace this perished binding and merino. We can replace all that, and it looks as good as new. So something like this that's got a hole in it, you cannot repair. The hole is you can't do that. Sadly, that's the only thing you can't do. Otherwise, I can blacken an edge of a top hat like that, and I can blacken it, but because the silk has gone on it, that's the one we can't repair. We can repair, but we can't replace, because it's the silk that we can't get made anymore, so we can't do that. So this, the hat I showed you earlier is actually now that, and that is now in beautiful condition. That is all renewed inside and out, and a perfect silk top hat. That's how well they do. That was the crushed hat I showed you earlier. Look how good that is. It didn't have any wear on it crown, so this is beautiful. That's what we want. Modern day top hats, which have replaced the silk hat, are being made nowadays. We do a hire hat, which we also sell, which is a wool. That's a wool walking topper. Perfect for Ascot. You can very much see the difference between this and antique, but it still does the job. You can hire that, you can buy that from Oliver Brown. We then do a lower crown 5.5 inch walking topper for Ascot, and this is a polished wool, and it's a fur felt we call it, and that's just a slightly shinier version of that, and again a lot less shiny than the silk. These hats, by the way, are much heavier than the silk hats to wear. And that's one of the real beauties of having a silk hat, is they're not heavy. They're very light on your head, and you can breathe in them. You can't really breathe in these wool ones. But they perfectly do the job for Ascot. And then the tall walking topper, we call it the Hetherington. There's our Royal Ascot logo that we had when we sold the top hats with them. And so that is another polished fur felt hat, wool, perfect for Ascot. 6 inch grey, which you can't get anybody else. This is based on the old grey hat, which is so beautiful to wear actually. Not nearly as smart as the silk, but we sell these, they're $2.50, and as you can see, they're really beautiful hats. They're taller than any other greys you can get, and they're really nice to wear. The prices on the black hats, wool, $2.50. We do sell them ex-hire from $1.50. So it does make sense if you buy these ex-hire. We always sell them all year round ex-hire, including just for Ascot, during Ascot. Melusine 5.5 inch black hat, they are $4.50. Melusine Hetherington 6 inch top hat, $4.75.